Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So I am a believer that mermaids do in fact exist, okay? Call me crazy, I don't care. I think they're freaking real, okay? And I remember back in like 2012 when the Mermaids the Body Found documentary came out on Animal Planet in the Discovery Channel. And I was so excited. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time I watched that documentary. And I was like, oh my gosh, they really found mermaids. It's really real. I was telling my friends, it's real. It was fake. It was all fake. I was so upset when I found out that it was fake. Oh my God. The way I wanted to cry. And I was like, why they punk me like that? Like, they made it sound so convincing. And half the crap in that documentary was made up. And all the scientists were actors. I was so mad. And then they came out with the sequel. And even though I was mad about it, I still watched the sequel anyway, which wasn't near as good as the first one. The first one was way better. But, in any case, like, I love watching, like, on YouTube, like, those found footage videos, like, people recording, well, it's not found footage, but it's people recording, like, things in the water, you know, like, the guy, listen to this, okay, there was a TikToker years ago who was on his boat, pitch black, and he was throwing, like, a crab out in the ocean, and the crab would get thrown back into his boat. And he would film out in the water and you could see glowing eyes, but it was too dark to see anything else. And then, like, he keeps filming, and then eventually you do see this thing get closer to the boat, and it puts its hand on the side of the boat and it, like, bumps up against it and stuff. He puts the footage on TikTok, and I kid you not, that guy goes silent, okay? Where did he go? And it's, like, heavily speculated that, like, this guy, like, the government found his videos and confiscated his boat and told him to shut his mouth and be quiet about it, you know? And I'm like, mermaids are real, and he found one, okay? You cannot convince me otherwise. It's a fact. They're real. And when you find some kind of cryptid and you find some kind of mythological creature that shouldn't even exist, the government likes to step in and they like to shut you up, or they'll kill ya, okay? And there was another guy. He was in, like, what, Canada or something? What was his name? Like, Aaron? I think his name was Aaron. 34 years old, I think. He was out with his buddy or whatever, and they filmed some giant on the top of a mountain. And then when they went back to try to film it again, it was gone. And then when they went to try to go to the trail, there was somebody in a black vehicle talk about, you can't come down this trail, it's closed to the public. And he said, it's a public trail, you can't do that. And he was posting all these videos on TikTok, like, back to back to back. And then they started stalking his house, and he was filming them stalking his house, and he was like, something's up, they're stalking me. And then he had made an apology video, right, in quotes, because it was so fake. You could tell he was reading from a script the entire time. He kept shifting his eyes off to the side, you know, as if to say, like, am I doing it right? And so he was filming the apology video, talking about it was all fake, I made it all up for views, da-dee-da-dee-da, and I'm gonna stop posting this, that, and the other. In the very next day, he is frantic. He films himself coming out of his house, totally frantic, talking about, it is real, it's all real, they told me to say that, they're freaking following me, they threatened me and my family, this, that, and the other. And sure enough, not like a week or so later, this man ends up dead. Like, they called it a suicide, but he is, like, straight dead. They killed him. They went and shut him up about the giants on the mountain. Like, you can't tell me that whole thing was, like, he has an obituary. You can look him up, you know? I can't remember his full name. I really think it's Aaron, though. But if you Google guy finds giant in Canada, ends up dead, I'm sure he'll pop up on your Google. Yeah, it's all just really fishy, you know? Oh my gosh. And yeah, there is a part of me that is a tiny bit skeptical, because if these things exist, you know they could destroy us. If there were giants, why aren't they rampaging through cities just eating people? You know what I mean? Like, why are they in hiding? If there are mermaids, why don't we see more of them? Like, I've seen quite a few videos where people feel like they captured stuff in the water that was resemblant of a mermaid, you know, but the clips are usually pretty short. Some of them are potato quality, but you don't see them very often, you know, or you'll see things that wash up on the shore that look humanoid. People are poking it with a stick. Usually it's in like another country and they don't even speak English and you don't know what they're saying. And then you never see another video about it, you know? Why is that? You know, like, I don't know. It's just wild to me. And then like, the ocean, we know more about space than we do about our ocean. Who's to say there aren't mermaids down in there? Okay? And we just haven't had any scientists actually come across one yet. There could be all kinds of crap down there. They're finding new species down there every year. I mean, they come across all kinds of noises, like the bloop, you know? You can only go so deep before the submarines and equipment start compressing on itself, you know, and like the pressure down there is insane, so you can only go so far down, you know. But Lord knows there could be anything down there. Like, I don't know, I don't know, I think about it. Okay. I think about it. So anyway, for this coloring page, I drew a mermaid. It was the next on my list, and I absolutely love mermaids, so I had to give you all my crazy spiel. Like, I really think that some of this stuff could really be out there. Okay, maybe not all of it, but I mean, we got cameras, we got all kinds of stuff these days, you know. People catching stuff all the time on video, you know, and some of it's kind of freaky. Some of it's like, what was that big shadow thing on your freaking roof, you know? Or I don't know. And I watch Nuke's Top 5 like all the time. Like, I am a big believer in ghosts and demons, and people be catching all kinds of crazy stuff happening in their houses and stuff. I've personally experienced demonic behavior before in the past. In a past home that we lived in, we had a haunted couch. Okay, like, we got a couch from a dead man's house, and we had 6 months of straight torment before I finally took that couch out of my house and we burned it. Like, it was nuts. But yeah, like, stuff like that, it's so crazy, and I'm totally intrigued by it. And there's definitely things that, like, as far as ghosts go and stuff, like, there's things that you just don't do. You just don't play with Ouija boards, man. You do not dabble in that dark stuff, because demons are freaking real, and they will come after you as soon as they get the opportunity. Don't let them in. Don't give them the opportunity. I think as far as like mermaids go, one of the big reasons why I believe they exist too is because it's kind of biblical. You know what I mean? Like, I know the book of Enoch got took out of the Bible. However, you know, in Genesis, they talk about giants. They talk about the Nephilim. And in Enoch, it delves a little further, and it talks about how the women who made it with the angels, they got cursed by God to become sirens, you know? And the way it describes them, it just kind of fits along the lines of what a mermaid is, you know? And so the Old Testament is cuckoo bananas. I freaking love it. There's all kinds of crazy stuff in the Old Testament. It is wild. And Enoch is my favorite book, and I don't care what anyone says. It's not canonical. Go kick rocks. I don't care what you think. Like, I think it's awesome. That book is awesome, okay? And listen, when we die, we'll all know the truth. We'll all know what the reality is, what the truth is, and we'll know what's real and what's not, and why things are hidden for a reason. Like, we'll know, you know. And until that time comes, we can only speculate, you know, and we have our imaginations, but that's just how I feel about it. All right, anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. You guys have a great day. Let me know down in the comments, do you think mermaids are real? Do you think giants are real and the Sasquatch and things like that? Like, let me know. Do you think ghosts are real? Like, tell me, do you have a story? I want to read it. Okay, I love you. Bye.